So today it was supposed to be taken by the Professor A.K. Jha, but he is not here. So on behalf of him, I'm taking the class. So in ENT, you have to study ear, nose, throat, and we'll start the course from the ear. So today we'll be dealing about the anatomy of the external and middle ear. Now coming to the external ear, the external ear consists of the pinna. It has got a different part. See, this is the tragus. This is external auditory canal. This is helix. This is antihelix. This is scaphoid fossa. This is Simba concha. This is helix, antihelix. This is antitragus, and this is the tragus, and this is the ear lobule. Now coming to the just inside the pinna, there is an external auditory canal. The supporting framework of the canal wall is cartilage in the lateral wall, 1/3, and bone in the middle 2/3. And in normal healthy adult, it's around 2.4 centimeter or 24 millimeter. And outer 1/3 is made up of cartilage, whereas the medial 2/3 is bony. And in the cartilaginous part, is divided into cartilage and the bony part. In the cartilaginous part, there is a, you can see a hairs and glands. So hair follicles are present. So most of the time, if you prick the ear, if there is infection, folliculitis, then it is that part which got infected in the outer 1/3. And the canal is not straight, it's in the lazy S shape. So to see the tympanic membrane, we have to pull upwards, backwards, and laterally to make the lazy S into the straight line, so that we can see the tympanic membrane. Now coming to the tympanic membrane. Tympanic membrane consists of the two parts. One is pars tensa, other is pars flaccida. This is the pars tensa, and the upper part is the pars flaccida. Pars flaccida consists of the Saphenous membrane, is the bony part, and this is the lateral process of the malleus. This is the malleus, this is the handle of the malleus, this is the lateral process. And this is the anterior malleolar fold, this is the posterior fold. And in normal tympanic membrane, translucent. So we can see the inner parts in the tympanic membrane. We can see the shadow of the inner part. You can see here, this is the stapes, this is the part of the incus, and this is the incudostapedial joint. And here in the lower part, you can see the shadow of the round window. And this outer part is known as the annulus tympanicus. And as the tympanic membrane make an angulation in the external auditory canal of the 55 degree, so while throwing light to the external auditory canal, you can see a cone of light in the anteroinferior quadrant. See, using the tympanic consists of the 4 quadrant. This quadrant is made by a line drawn from the handle of this one line like this, and other line is perpendicular to this line. This is the ombo. So this, and so this is the posterior superior quadrant, anterior superior quadrant, this is the anterior inferior quadrant, and this is the posterior inferior quadrant. So it is divided into the 4 quadrants. And supply of the tympanic membrane and external auditory canal, see this anterior superior quadrant is supplied by the 15th, posterior superior of the canal is supplied by the 7th nerve. This part is the C3, and lower part is supplied by the vagus nerve. The tympanic membrane has got 3 layers. This is outer epithelial, inner endothelial, and in between is the fibrous layer. This outer epithelial layer is the epidermis, which is continuous with the skin of the external meatus. And middle, it consists of the fibrous layer known as the laminar propria. The inner mucosal layer is continuous with the lining of the cavity. It's continuous with the middle to the external layer and inner layer in the tympanic cavity. Now, this is the sensory innervation of the pinna or auricle. It is supplied by the greater auricular nerve, consists of medial surface and posterior portion of the lateral surface, lesser occipital nerve, superior portion of the medial surface, auricular nerve, branch of the vagus nerve is concave antihelix and supplies the medial surface, and auricular temporal nerve is the branch of the fifth nerve, mandibular branch. Tragus, cross of helix, and adjacent of the helix, and seventh facial nerve. It supplies the small region in the root of the concha. Now, nerve supply of the tympanic anterior portion by auricular temporal nerve, posterior portion by the vagus nerve, tympanic branch of the glossopharyngeal nerve, and both vessels and nerves are expressed in the posterior half of the tympanic membrane. Now, coming to the middle layer, it's also known as the middle layer cleft. Process of middle layer cleft, tympanic cavity or tympanum, eustachian tube, and mastoid air cell system. Now, coming to the tympanic cavity first, the tympanic cavity is an irregular, air-filled space within the temporal bone, containing ossicles, and in ossicles there are different muscles are attached, like stapedius muscles and tensor tympani muscles. This tympanic cavity is thought of as a box or a room with four walls, roof, and a floor. It's just like a room. Just imagine it's like a room. Now, coming to the lateral wall is formed by the tympanic membrane. It forms the central portion of the lateral wall, while above and below there is a bone, forming the outer lateral walls of the epitympanum and hypotympanum respectively. Usually the tympanic cavity is divided into three parts. Superior part is epitympanum, middle part is the mesotympanum, and lower part is hypotympanum. And part above the tympanic membrane superiorly is epitympanum. Part below the tympanic membrane is hypotympanum. And part which is continuous with the tympanic membrane is mesotympanum. Now, the tegmental tympani forms the bony is a roof is formed by the tegmental tympani is formed by the bone, and this bone separates the air from the dura. But this from the brain it is continuous with the middle cranial fossa. It's divided, it separates the bone, middle cranial fossa, and the epitympanum. Floor, it has a very thin plate of bone which separates the tympanic cavity from the tomb of the jugular valves, sometimes internal carotid artery. So if it is dehiscent, sometimes congenital dehiscence, so there is likely to damage the jugular valve during surgery. Now, anterior wall is related to the temporomandibular joint, carotid artery. The lower portion of the anterior wall is larger and it consists of a thin plate of bone covering the carotid artery. The upper cornea is separated from the eustachian tube by a thin plate of bone and contains the tensor tympani muscles. digital wall. It separates tympanic cavity from the middle wall. It will be in the rear, and it consists of promontory, that is the bony overhang of the cochlea, oval window, round window, canal for the facial nerve, and processus cochleiformis. And in the posterior wall, there are three things like pyramid, editors, which is continuous with the attic, and this editors will join the attic and the antrum, mastoid antrum, and other is in the lower part is the facial recess. Facial recess is bounded by the facial nerve, paratympanic nerve, and the pyramid. You can see here. This is the middle ear, tympanic cavity. This is the tympanic membrane of the ear. So superior to this tympanic membrane is the tympanum of the ear. This is the mesotympanum, and below the tympanic membrane is the hypotympanum. This posteriorly, it is this superior part is continuous with the editors, which is continuous with the mastoid vessels. Interiorly, there is a eustachian tube opening. Now, so you can see this is a tympanic membrane. This is a lateral view. Superior to that is this is a tympanic cavity. Superior to that is the epitympanum. This part is mesotympanum. This is hypotympanum. And in this picture, we can see a lateral wall and the medial wall. Medial wall is continuous with the inner ear. Medial wall consists of the promontory, oval window, and round windows here. Lateral wall by the is formed by the segment tympani, and over is the middle cranial fossa. It is separated by bone and hypotympanic by thin plate of bone. There lies the jugular. And during surgery, it is high chance of trauma jugular bone, which cause extensive bleeding. Now coming to the mastoid ear cell system, see there are different ear cell systems. This is the main mastoid antrum. This is explanatory canal. This is the main mastoid antrum. Is the mastoid antrum is the largest mastoid ear cells. And other cells are squamous cells in the squamous part of the bone. Sinodural angle. There are different cells, periantral cells, perisinusal cells, erythrofacial cells, tip cells, peritubal cells, petrosepex cells, and zygomatic cells. There are different cells, ear cell systems. It's not like a single air pocket. There are multiple pockets of the cells which consist of the air in the mastoid. So according to the bone, related to the bone, we can give a name like temporal bone is divided into the 5 parts, like squamous part, tympanic part, the tympanic part, this is the squamous part, this is the petrous part, this is the mastoid part. So, and this is zygomatic. So if there is air cells, the zygomatic is the zygomatic air cells. In petrosepex cells, and in the eustachian tube opening, around the eustachian tube opening, there are peritubal cells. In squamous part, squamous cells, and there is sinodural angle. This is the angle made by the dural plate and the sinus plate. There is sinodural angle. Here there are different cells, sinodural cells, and cells around the main mastoid antrum cells are the periantral cells, and cells around the facial nerve are retrofacial cells, and this in the sinus plate is perisinus cells, and in the tip cells are the tip, also known as tip cells, in the tip of the mastoid. Now you can see a posterior wall of the tympanic cavity. This is a processus cochleoformis. This is the oval window. You can see this is the facial nerve, facial recess, pyramid, and these are the blood vessels. Now, eustachian tube, it is present in the interior wall of mastoid cavity, tympanic cleft or middle ear cavity. It's lined by the mucous membrane. It connects the middle ear to the back of the throat into the nasopharynx. See, this is the nasopharynx, this is the ear, and this is the anterior part of the middle ear cavity, and this is the eustachian tube. It opens into the nasopharynx. And here also the inner part is bony, whereas the outer part is bony, lateral part, but the medial part is cartilaginous. And it helps to aerate the middle ear cavity. So the middle ear cavity has the pressure equal to the atmospheric pressure, ambient pressure. So this pressure is maintained by this tube. So when we do the chewing, yawning, this tube opens, otherwise it remains closed. So whenever we feel like a fullness in the air, blockage of the air because of the difference in the pressure, if we do the yawning or we do chewing, then it helps to maintain the pressure into the middle ear with respect to the atmospheric pressure. But it does not play a role in the hearing process, though the maintaining of the pressure into causes increase in the hearing. If there is a pressure is decreased, here blockage of the eustachian tube, then the hearing is slightly decreased. But it does not directly affect the hearing process, but it helps in the hearing process indirectly. Now you can see the four walls and roof here, the floor. So this side is the lateral wall, is the tympanic membrane, and this medial wall is middle ear has cochleoformis, oval window, round window. This is the medial wall, and this is the anterior wall. It has got and this is the floor. In floor, you can see the is also related to anterior wall, and floor is also related to internal cavity diaphragm. And this is a posterior wall. In posterior wall, we can see process cochleoformis, pyramid, and part of the facial nerve. This is the facial nerve coming here, and this is the branch of the facial nerve. This is the chorda tympani nerve coming from here. And this is the posterior part of the teeth. And root is by the tympani, which continues with the middle canal of the dura. Now this is the facial. This is the posterior part, and this is the pyramid. From the pyramid arises the stapedius muscles like this. It is joined to it arises from the pyramid and inserts into the neck of the stapes. This is the foot plate. This is the stapes. And this is the facial recess. And facial recess is superior, there is a chorda tympani nerve, and inferior there is a facial nerve. And the pyramid sinus tympani. So this is the place where there is a high chance of the cholecystitis to be left out during surgery, because it is very difficult to visualize this place. This is how we see from the facial recess. If we enter to the facial recess, like if during surgery, if we drill this part from the mastoid cavity, we can see like this. This is a facial recess. From the facial recess, we can see horizontal semicircular canal, incus, stapes, round window, and choroidal nerve, and this is a facial nerve. This is the view from the facial nerve once open during the surgery. The middle ear cleft has three bones: ossicular chain, malleus, incus, and stapes. And ossicles, they are the smallest bone in the body, and they act as a reward system and helps in the hearing mechanism. The footplate of the stapes enters oval window of the cochlea. Like here, you can see this footplate is enters the oval window to the is a part of the cochlea, inner ear. So whenever sound comes, hits the tympanic membrane, then it will make vibration of these ossicles, and this vibration will transmit it from the malleus, incus, then to stapes, and this stapes, there is a footplate which is continuous with the oval window, which is continuous with the fluid in the inner ear. So this vibration will cause the vibration of the fluid in the inner ear, which later vibrates the deporizes the knob, and then the knob, the sound is conducted as an electrical impulse to the brain. So these are the three bones: malleus, incus, and stapes. And this is the in the lateral process of the malleus, which we see in the earlier diagram. This is the lateral process, and this is the handle of the malleus, and this is the umbo, tip of the malleus. Handle of the malleus is the umbo. Now, stapedius muscles, this connects the stapes to the middle ear wall, and it helps the inner ear to be damaged by a high sound or high frequency sound. Like it contracts in response to the very loud sounds, which is also known as the acoustic reflex. So it prevents the inner ear. Thank you. Is there any questions? And about the embryology of the development of the ear, you have to study yourselves, because sometimes it has been asked. It's not that lengthy. There's a small portion in your book. You can read yourself. And in book also there is given a diagram of the supply of the pinna. Like this, the